Alright, hello everybody, what's going on? Today I'm bringing you a early access slash first impression slash review so far of Killing Floor 2. This is an early access game, came out not too long ago. It's been out for about a month or something like that, and I decided to pick it up here recently since I finished most of some of the other games I've already been involved in. First of all, let me get a few things out of the way before I begin this. I'm doing some of this live, which is something I don't normally do, but I figure it'd be better to show off some of the things that I wanted to do. Second of all, I'm not familiar with the Killing Floor franchise before this one. I've done some research on the wiki and stuff, that way I wouldn't be a completely ignorant knob when I go through and talk about some of this stuff. But this one is the first one that grabbed me. I kind of missed out on Killing Floor 1 because it was honestly before my time as a PC gamer, and I couldn't have ran it even if I wanted to. And honestly, it was kind of underground and more in the modding scene when it came out, and I just honestly didn't hear about it until a few years ago. So but this one is quite a bit different, but it picks up pretty much where it left off in a very good way. So before we get into any of the game stuff, which is why I want to do this live, let me go into the options menu. I like to always, before going into the nitty-gritty details of the game, I like to show off how it runs on a PC. Pretty good myriad of options here. You have, your normal texture resolution, your effects quality, bloom, blah, 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 ambient occlusion, all the normal stuff. So pretty good range. I'd say you'd be able to run this on pretty much low-end hardware. I think the minimum requirement is like a GTS, what was it, a 210 or something. I say if you had like HD integrated graphics, you could probably get this to run. It probably wouldn't be great, but I'm saying you could do it. A couple knocks against this. Number one, there's only FXAA for anti-aliasing. If you're an NVIDIA user, I think you can enable multi-frame anti-aliasing in the control panel. It doesn't look a whole lot better, besides it's just a little less blurry. It looks fine. It's just I would have preferred to have, I don't know, anything else. MLAA, hell, SMAA, anything is even more taxing than that. Could have looked better. But it's okay for now. They can always add in more later. Film grain you can adjust, which I liked it all the way up, but I keep it down about here to keep it less distracting. I actually like the implementation of motion blur in this game. It looks pretty good. It reminds me of, especially with the film grain effect, it kind of feels like a Romero style zombie film when you're watching it. And I am going to be saying zombies. I apologize already, but I'm going to be comparing other games that use zombie-like creatures. They're undead. They're attacking humans. They're fucking zombies. I'm sorry. You can call them whatever you want, Zeds, but that's the general class of monsters they are. A general bitching about as an NVIDIA user, the last GTA 5 driver update absolutely killed my DSR, which is dynamic super resolution, where you'd be able to run like 4K scale down and stuff. That's been screwed up for every game since then, so I can't tell you until they fix it how well this game runs above 1080p, but it runs flawlessly at 1080p Ultra on a GTX 970. I've not gone off of vertical sync, but I've never dropped below 60 frames per second. So I would say you could probably do this 144 hertz if you just turn down some of the advanced settings. So overall, pretty good port so far, pretty optimized, and I'm pretty happy with it. This game does have some character customization, which I didn't know about. Most of these characters are recurring from, I think some of these are recurring from the past Killing Floor. I did see some names that popped up once again when I was scouring over the wiki. You can make your guy look like Colonel Sanders or whoever you want. It's pretty good. A lot of this is, it's unnecessary, but it's nice to have, and I think it's pretty cool. So props to them for the customizable characters, and I look forward to hopefully getting more and more props and stuff. I'm sure this will be a thing because it's on Steam and fucking Hat City Central. I'll start getting into some of the nitty gritty parts of the game. So there are like 4 perk lines you can select, and they're kind of like classes, but they're they don't determine too much, except really your starting equipment and what skills you can have. As you can see, I'm a complete scrub and I only have 1 rank in Commando and Field Medic, about to get 2 in Field Medic. And when you're this early on, it doesn't make a huge difference. The main thing I've been using Field Medic is starting out for the most part because of the equipment you start out with. As you can see, usually all these classes come with different grenade types. So this has a frag, that has a HE, EMP. This one has medic, and this medic grenade can heal people in a mass, which is pretty nice. Most of these all these medic weapons come with an alt fire that heals people. Support's main thing to do is welding doors. Commando is just kill fucking Zeds, as you would probably guess. And Berserkers, they're a little kind of, vague. Kill Zeds and their squad members, but it's whatever. But they're mainly the melee big heavy weapon types. But what I understand, once you get to rank 5, you'll be able to choose these skill tree type things and start out with more ammo, that sort of thing. So that's pretty nice. Like I said, I've only played for like 2.5 hours in game, so that's why none of this is particularly leveled up. So yeah, now I'll go into the actual game and bring you some gameplay here. So my overall thoughts first starting to play this. It took a couple matches to understand what was really going on, what the best way to kill stuff was, that sort of thing. But overall, it was pretty easy to jump into. I can tell you, as starting out, do not go into any level higher than normal at first, because you will get destroyed. The first game I joined was a 4-wave, I think the tier above hard. I couldn't tell. I didn't know any better. I just used online matchmaking. And after wave 1, it got really, really hard, and I thought that was just like the base game. I was like, fuck me, I just suck. But luckily I figured out that there were 10-wave normal matches, and you can earn a lot of good cash there, get a lot of good weapons by the end, and it's really fun. So the basic outline is that there's a set number of waves. I'd recommend doing the 7 to 10 range early on, that way you can build up money and that sort of thing. And then at the end, there's a boss battle. Right now, the only boss in the game that I know of is Hans Volter, who's this like 100-year-old Nazi scientist, evil doctor dude, who shoots grenades and poison gas and STG-44s at you. And he can kind of be a motherfucker, even on normal difficulty. I've died to him a couple times, but luckily I did finish him off at one point by myself, which was pretty nice, because that was like the first real game that I played, and I was like, it's good. So it's pretty straightforward layout for a horde type mode. After every wave, you go and you can replenish your ammo stock, buy new weapons, sell weapons, and to free up your inventory space. Every weapon does have weight to it, which means I'm sure that somewhere down in the perks, I'm sure there's a way that you can make your weight go higher. But there's some weapons like you cannot physically carry at the same time because they weigh too much. So usually I stick with, for this sort of thing, I stick with a one type of medic weapon where I can heal someone at range, and then usually like a commando weapon where I can deal a lot of damage. And if you're playing, a different class, it would definitely help to experiment and see what works for you best. Every weapon has like an alt fire, or at least most weapons. The commando weapons are just like do semi-auto instead of full auto. The medic weapons can heal at range. They shoot like little healing darts, which is pretty nice. And I think the berserker like melee weapons just block. The flamethrower doesn't do anything, I don't think, but it's a fucking flamethrower. What do you expect? So that's more or less it. I mean, it's just a straight up horde, survive, shoot shit. You can weld doors for barricades. There's basic defense mechanics like that. Different types of zombies, which I'm not really educated enough to really go over. I just know, there's like the normal Zeds, there's the pound fleshes, there's the chainsaw wielding guys, there's the big butcher spitter looking things, and I don't know the names of them, so I'm not going to try to sound like I know what I'm talking about, but that's really it. as far as basic mechanics of the game. So my overall impressions of it, and it should be said, I am quite picky when it comes to zombie horde games. They're either very hit or miss for me. But I'm overall very impressed with this game, especially considering it's an early access. I was never a Left 4 Dead person. I never understood the hype behind it. It's not a bad game. It can be mildly entertaining for me, and I honestly think the modding community is what made it stay alive so long. But it just, I don't know, the mechanics never felt right to me. It felt way too arcadey, and I understand it's kind of supposed to trying to go for that, but it just never felt natural to me. I'm okay with the no ADS thing. I like other Valve games, so that doesn't bother me. But just the pills thing, the healing, just none of it. It felt dated the day it came out. It felt like a game from like 2004. It was like, what the fuck is this? It just feels like a cheap Half-Life 2 mod. Like, it just feels like something I could do in Gary's mod just as easily. So never a fan of that. I mildly liked some of the Call of Duty zombies. I don't consider that a real horde zombie game though. Like, it's so ridiculous. This game's ridiculous too, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't like take itself super seriously, so I can give it a little bit of leeway. But this one is probably one of my favorite horde games I've played in a long time. It's easy to get into, hard to master type of thing is what I'm getting out of it, and it does seem like it does take a lot of work to actually level up. But if you're willing to put in that amount of time into a game, I think this one could keep you entertained for a long time. It's very solid for an early access title. There's not a terrible amount of content. It definitely needs more maps. I think there's only 3 playable right now. I've seen that there's like 5 or 6 more that's already been announced. It's coming up, and I'm sure that'll be in patches relatively soon, so I look forward to that. It could definitely use more weapons. I don't know how many there were in the previous Killing Floor, but there's only like 3 assault rifles for Commando. There's only like 4 weapons for Field Medic, and all the weapons for the Field Medic are like the exact same fucking gun. They're the same overall style of weapon. Even the assault rifle and SMG feel the exact same to me, except that assault rifle does a few more like hit points of damage, but not much. And I just think there needs to be more variation overall. If there could be like a light machine gun, throw it in, that sort of thing, that'd be really cool. But it's a good base, and every one of the weapons feel great. I'm really surprised that they got that kind of feel for the gun in Unreal Engine 3. I've never seen that done before. It feels very authentic. Matter of fact, it feels leagues better than most first-person shooters, like even military shooters, which says a lot. It definitely feels better than like Payday 2, even though they revamped their system. And it is better, but this one just feels very tight. Every mouse movement is very tied to your weapon movement, and it feels really good. So they have a very solid base for that. So all they need is more weapons, and it'd be great. As far as performance goes, it's like I said, it's been pretty good. Easily maxed out on a 970 at 1080p 60 frames per second. I have run into some stuttery stuff, micro stutters, and just overall freezes. I can definitely tell you do not do anything in the background while you're playing this game. Usually I upload footage to YouTube while I'm playing stuff in the background, because it usually doesn't affect my ping, but like 30-40 milliseconds anyway. This game cannot handle that. It like just randomly will just freeze frame for about 5 seconds, and you're back in, and then sometimes you'll be looking for a server, and then the loading screen will just make you crash. So I don't know if it just uses a lot of the CPU resources or what, but don't do anything in the background if you're playing this game unless you have like a fucking i7 Extreme 8 core or something like that and 32 gigs of RAM. But overall, it runs very well, and I'm not, I've had way more bugs and stutters and issues with full AAA releases, so I'm not knocking it too much. I think one very important aspect of this game, though, if you've been listening and my voice isn't drowning it out, is the music playing in the background. Every wave, there's like a selection of different metal artists that play. Being a heavy metal fan myself, I very much enjoyed this. Matter of fact, I used to be a huge fan of Demon Hunter. When I saw their name pop up, I was like, oh fuck yeah. They changed their sound a little bit. I'm not as happy with the newer stuff as I am. I did like the older stuff, but nonetheless, very fitting songs are playing. I want to see a couple things done with the music. Number one, more tracks would be good. I mean, it's always good to have a selection, because I'm one of those people that's like, I'll listen to an entire album in one sitting, but I don't want to listen to one song like every day, or like some of the people that listen to back. That shit drives me crazy, and I'm already recognizing songs playing, you know, back to back, just in like the few hours I've played. So what I want to see is the ability to add custom soundtracks. Just have like a custom music folder in the game directory where we can just, you know, put in whatever soundtracks we want, because I would fucking love to play this game and have like Meshuggah or Cradle of Filth or Cannibal Corpse or Diamond Burger playing in the background. That'd be fucking awesome. You know, I guess if you wanted to, you could just mute the music and play it through the Steam Music app or play it in the background, but it'd be cooler if it was integrated into the game. It'd feel authentic. That way it would stop and pause when you're when, you know, the wave's over. So that would be badass. I'm sure it's something they could do, and I'm sure it's probably something they're looking forward to, because I'm definitely not the only person that's requested that, especially as a musician and a music freak myself. That would be very, very cool. But that's pretty much it. I've enjoyed the game so far. For early access, it's a very solid title. It runs pretty well. The selection of specifications is pretty good. I'd like to see more anti-aliasing options. I didn't go over the input devices, but keyboard and mouse is solid, and it does have controller support. I myself wouldn't play this game on a controller, but if you have like a physical handicap, or if you're like me and like to go home and play on a couch and don't have a wireless keyboard and mouse that is up to the task, then a controller is a good thing to have at that point. I wouldn't recommend playing this on a hard difficulty on a controller, though, because you'd probably get destroyed. But there's a lot of this game, there is to offer. I like it a lot better than most zombie shooters. I think it's a lot more fun than Left 4 Dead. There's not as much content out for it yet. And for $30, I don't know that it is worth the amount of content. I wouldn't recommend this to everyone yet. I would definitely wait and see what's going to happen. Wait till there's a few more maps. But if you want to jump in and support the development, I think this is a really good early access title to do it with. Like I said on the closing note, I'd like to see definitely more weapons and maps, and I'd like to see custom soundtrack options. That would be badass. So if you want to go slaughter some zombies with friends, and I'd definitely recommend it, doing this with friends. I've just done it solo so far because no one else has bought it yet, but this has been, I could see how this would be more fun with communication. But I'd say go for it if you want to support the development. Otherwise, keep an eye on it, because it's progressing pretty damn nicely. And I have no idea what the projected release date is, or hell, I don't even know if it's is it in beta? Is that what they're calling it now? I don't even know when their next updates are. I have no idea on their roadmap, but right now it's very playable. I wouldn't spend $30 on it again. I don't think it's worth $30 of content yet, but I know it will be. I have faith in these developers, because it's Killing Floor. This thing has like a cult following since the first one and since the mod, so I think we're in pretty good hands. So that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed my first impression / review so far. If you have any terribly different opinions or anything, leave those in the comments below. Tell me why or why not you would recommend this game to a friend in the state it is, and I hope you enjoyed it, and stick around. We should have some co-op Killing Floor stuff eventually, maybe some solo stuff very soon from me if I feel like recording it. So thanks for watching. Leave you know what to do, all that YouTube bullshit. See you later.
Bring up the trading controls and upgrade your gear.
If anyone needs, anyone need official cash, don't mind if I do.